Hi guys, Drew Murray here. I'm I'm not sure what format this channel is going to go forward with. I'd like some feedback, in fact. I dug up... I started a few years ago, say a few, it was a few years ago, a blog called D20 Advice. .blogspot? Blogger? Something like that. .co.uk, and I received like 1 or 2 emails from people about it, and I got a comment, but I produced a video for that where it's just my smooth silky tones and some music and images, all kind of edited together, and I drew some of the images, my mate Oliver drew some of the images, and shush phone. So I drew some of the images, my friend Oliver drew some of the images, and it's a thing that exists. I'm going to splice it into this video so you get to see what it was that I had. Just a few further notes. I call it D20 Advice because at the time I was mostly playing D20 games and I didn't have much of an interest in other games and game systems, although I did enjoy some other games and game systems, but I hadn't played that much at the time. I've played more since, and I enjoy the idea of other game systems a lot more now. So I've stolen the name for this channel just because D20s are ubiquitous, and the term D20 Advice hasn't been taken by anyone else yet, which is kind of cool. At least not that I could find anyway on a quick Google search. So I'm gonna take it. That's the name of this channel now. But yeah, the old stuff. But yes, the music was used without permission, and so if need be, if the people who have ownership of those tracks, because I am struggling to remember where I got those tracks from, but if the owners of those tracks want something from me, then ask. In fact, please do get in touch so that I can put your details down below, because I'd like to give you credit where credit's due. And yeah, the company names on there, Take Initiative and Free Time Industries, they're 2 companies that I set up years ago, and I haven't really done much with while I've been at uni. The idea was I would go to uni, learn my craft, and move on from uni and set up those companies properly. You know, like actually hit the ground running, get a few mates, and just make stuff. I'll go into the history of that in another video, probably on a different channel, I'm sorry to say. But that's what those are about. So Free Time Industries was an idea of just anyone who has free time, you donate that time to do a particular task on a particular project. It was basically an idea of crowdfunding effort. Before crowdfunding really took off as a thing, I would probably have called it crowdfunded effort if I made it today. So that was Free Time Industries, and it was one where you wouldn't get anything back from it. You'd just be able to point to something that you've made and go, I made that. It'll kind of build towards a portfolio whenever you had free time. And it also helped you exercise things. So you could put on your CV like I've had more practice at this, I'm better at this, I did this, look at this. Whereas Take Initiative was the actual company itself, the one that was intended to make money, and make adverts and things and short films and feature films, hopefully eventually. So yeah, that's what those were, and in a way still are, but until I do something with them, they're just kind of sat there. So that's those. That's what the little things are. But yeah, everything else was just me faffing about with VideoPad. I think it was VideoPad, and whatever tools I could get with VideoPad and stuff. But yeah, cool. Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of D20 Advice. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about what a role-playing game is, and that's the theme for this week. Role-playing games cover a whole plethora of materials such as live-action role-playing games, pen and paper role-playing games, and computer role-playing games. Some game mechanics considered to be role-playing game mechanics are utilized in a whole manner of game systems. A whole lot of computer games these days are using character development mechanics in first-person shooters and adventure games, even fighting games. These have role-playing game elements, but aren't necessarily role-playing games. In this blog, we're going to concentrate on pen and paper role-playing games, and the D20 system primarily. I would love to branch off and do other systems, but for now I'll stick with this and see how we go. I'm going to introduce 4 primary concerns of the game mechanics in D20 role-playing games that are often split into more specialized categories, or overgeneralized in their descriptions. This makes it hard for new players to know what each thing really does, and encourages them to go through the motions in their first few games. I feel like this is the wrong path to take, and that in fact to get real enjoyment from the games you need to understand why each thing is there, what its purpose is, so you can start your first game knowing who and what you are, what your function is, and what you can do. The 4 primary concerns are what a GM is, what a player is, why we use dice, and how to use this information. To start off with, in a D20 role-playing game, you'll need at least 2 people to play as the 2 types of player in the game. The first type often acts alone, and is called the GM, or Games Master. This person sets the scene for the other type of player, referred to as a player. These control usually one player character. Player characters, or PCs, have character sheets, which are essentially just pieces of paper with writing on. The numbers say what to add to a roll of the dice, and everything else helps you work out what the character can do, such as fight with 2 swords, or cast spells, or breathe water. Players tell the GM what their PCs do and say during whatever the GM says is going on, and a story is told between everyone. No story is complete without danger, and the most fun is had when there's a chance of failure. It's like when you see the first part of a film trilogy, and you know a character survives to the end. It's a little bit less tense when they enter the snake pit, because you know what will ultimately happen. They'll escape, they'll get out of it. It's much more tense when it's the final chapter, and they could die at any moment. In role-playing games, your PC could die at any moment. Anything could happen at any turn. There are so many deciding factors for the outcome of things, that it sometimes appears random. To replicate this, we use dice to create random outcomes. You roll a die, usually a D20, and add whatever number on your sheet is most appropriate. Your GM can help you with this. The final result is what you scored. How does all of this fit together? We'll use an example. I'll be the GM, and you are the player playing a PC who is the fighting type. They're good at it, and they're known for it. From here on out, I'll use the word you to refer to both you as a player and your PC, to aid in the immersion. It's what GMs do. You're in a town square, and you're looking around. I ask you to make a spot check to find out if you spot anything. What you'll do is roll a D20, and let's say you get a 13. You're not the most observant, but you still have a +2 on your spot skill on your sheet. So that means you scored a 15 in total. As a GM, I decide that's enough to notice a thief on the other side of the square, picking a pocket. Congratulations, you've succeeded at your first check. From this point on, the story progresses with the player deciding what to do next, and the GM deciding and explaining what happens. The PC could go over and attack the thief, or just call for the authorities, or ignore this completely and check out the local tavern. The choice is yours. I'll expand on all of these concepts in future posts. To help pick what gets covered next week, and to say what you think so far, or even just to have a few questions answered, just email me d20advice@live.co.uk. I've been your host, Drew Murray, and this is D20 Advice, here to help. Have a nice day.
So yeah, after checking, that account no longer exists. So that's not something I'm going to be using at all. I should probably have an email address that I could be contacted on. I'll create a work email address and I'll put it in the description when it's done, so if you want to contact me, you can do. But yeah, that email address is dead, gone, so don't email it. But yeah, the blog itself is dead. Like I said, I got a couple of emails asking for certain things, and I started working on it, and then I got combination of things. I basically got bored very quickly. And I got bored very quickly because I wasn't getting the response I anticipated straight away. I was thinking that something like this, something where you'd get like gaming advice and things in a video format that's easy to digest, people would just like storm the gates, oh my god, this is amazing! Because I had an inflated sense of what things did and how things worked at the time. So I just thought if something was made, people would rush towards it. And that's not the case. You really do have to grow your audience. You have to produce something worthwhile, not just some crappy little series of animations and videos and stuff with pinched images and music. So, yeah, that was a thing. But let me know if I should sit in front of the camera and do the whole gaming stuff this way, or if you'd rather images and just voice and stuff, because I could do either. I think I'd rather do voice with animations. Not animations, but like images and stuff. Probably not like a personal avatar animation, but just images to demonstrate what I'm talking about. The problem is when you start talking kind of down a rabbit hole, you start rambling about something or talking about something in depth, and when you talk about concepts, it's difficult to put pictures to that. As I'm talking, I'm imagining ways to get around it and pictures that would go along with various abstract concepts that I'm coming up with as I'm thinking of it. So maybe I'm just talking out my arse at the moment. So moving swiftly on. Thanks for putting up with this thing that I presented you with, and hopefully we'll be able to move on from there. Do let me know what you want to see, but I've already got loads of ideas for future videos and things, whereas last time I didn't, but now I do. So I'll be producing videos much more regularly. I will record them in front of a camera and do a minimal amount of research, because it's mostly like ideas and concepts and things that I've come up with on my bike rides to and from uni, because I have ages to ride. And yeah, I'll either take out the video, stick something else over the top, combine the two, just have me rambling in front of a camera, whatever tickles my fancy. So yeah, in that regard, wobbly camera thing there. Thank you for watching. Time to be a corporate shill. Like if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, share it about social media stuff just so that people get to see my pretty face, and comment down below with how awful and amateur that previous video was. Please don't comment about how awful and amateur this current video is, because that would break my heart. It really would. So I will be talking about more gaming stuff in future. Thank you very much for paying attention and just being here. How the hell do you end videos? This is an utterly ridiculous thing. Oh, right.